Another player heads to the IL. We'll recap the Marlins series. Plus, the MLB draft is Sunday night. We'll take a trip down memory lane and look at the Cardinals' first round picks in recent years. Plus, who's being mocked to them in round one on Sunday. This is Locked on Cardinals.
You are Locked on Cardinals, your daily St. Louis Cardinals podcast. Part of the Locked on Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Hey there, Cardinals fans. I'm JD Hafford, and I'm a national radio sports anchor, born and raised in the Lou, and a lifetime Cardinals fan. And I'm your host for Locked on Cardinals, part of the Locked on Podcast Network, your team every day. Follow me on Twitter at JD Sports Radio and the podcast at LO_Cardinals. Want to thank those of you who make Locked on Cardinals your first listen every day, free and available wherever you get your podcasts. iTunes, Spotify, Google Podcasts, all the normal places, plus YouTube. Make sure you like and subscribe and comment. That way you can interact with us. Hit the notification button so you know when the new episodes are posted. This is a show serving Cardinal Nation, giving the best fans in baseball all of the info about the birds on the bat. Today's episode being brought to you by Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Last-minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. Now, before we get into today's show, we did have some breaking news late this afternoon. Major injury update for the team. Tommy Edman has been placed on the 10-day injured list with right wrist inflammation, and they have recalled Jose Fermin from Memphis, 24 years old, batting 180 with 2 home runs and 4 RBIs in just 17 games. He's had injuries all season, got hurt in the spring, has been hurt for most of the year. Just a guy that's probably going to ride the bench, but will eventually make his major league debut. Maybe we'll see him at some point this weekend in Chicago. But that's big news. Tommy Edman, a wrist injury, not so good. Not so good at all. He's kind of been a huge piece of keeping what's left of this puzzle together, being able to play not only second and short, but also center field. So that's a huge loss for the team. The Cardinals and Marlins locked horns again last night to wrap up their 4-game set in Miami. Let's take you back to that real quick, because this series basically embodies what this Cardinals season has been all about. You can genuinely look at it, and it's like a snapshot of what the whole first half of the season has been. Just a roller coaster of emotions and injuries and good and bad play. Monday, you have the best all-around baseball game, in my opinion, where the Cardinals fell behind early. They love doing that, by the way. Then working their way back into the game, taking the lead, only to see the bullpen give up a bunch of runs. They lose it 5-4. Starting pitching, not horrible in that one. Again, you give up a bunch of runs early. Falling behind early is a trend that is really, really getting old. It makes life tough when you're always having to come from behind right away in a game. Bullpen coughs up a lead. What else is new? Offense did their best. Certainly a game that you could have and probably should have won. Tuesday, you get throttled by the Marlins, right? And apparently injured Adam Wainwright gets torched early on, 7-0 by the end of the 4th inning. And by this point, the team is already checked out. They've lost interest. The offense gets dominated by Jesus Luzardo. They lose this one 15-2. Looking back on the season, the team hasn't gotten blown out all that much this year. It's not as much as you would think. It seems like it's happened more often, and it's because it's happened a little more frequently recently. 4th time since the beginning of June that the pitching staff has given up double-digit runs, that's never ideal if you're trying to win ball games. Wednesday, you again fall behind early 4-0 after the first, and eventually 5-0 before the offense wakes up and erupts and gets you back into it. You get the dramatic down to the last strike bomb by Jordan Walker in the 9th inning to give you the lead, only to see that moment topped by a 2-run throwing error by your current closer. And you lose the game 10-9, a gut punch of a loss, another game that you should have won, but the Cardinals are going to Cardinal in 2023, and they figure out ways to lose games instead of win them. And then last night, you get another solid performance from Jack Flaherty. Applaud Jack Flaherty. He's pitched very well the last couple of games. Throws another 6 2/3 innings of shutout ball, despite giving up 9 hits. It's not like Jack makes it easy on himself, but he's just had this way of escaping situations all year. And he gets backed into a corner out there and somehow, some way just figures out a way to work out of it unscathed. I don't know how he's doing it, but he's getting away with it so far. And he hasn't given up a run in his last 2 starts over the last 12 and 2/3 innings. Shutout, nothing coming across the plate. The bullpen does their job on Thursday with shutout innings by Chris Stratton. Damn glad to meet you. Giovanni Gallegos, Jordan Hicks. They all bounced back. And offensively, they were facing Marlins rookie phenom Yuri Perez, who's been excellent this year. One of the top up-and-coming pitchers in all of Major League Baseball. And yeah, they had troubles with him early on, but eventually they get to him. You know, Nolan Arenado connects in the 6th inning, mashing one over the center field wall just after getting brushed back off the plate, which as a hitter, you always love to be able to do. Oh, yeah? You're going to throw up and in on me? I'll take you over the wall. 17th dinger of the season for Nolan. And you love to see the raw emotion of Nato as he rounded first base. You know, I feel like we haven't seen as much of that from Nolan this year. And when you're losing as much as the Cardinals have lost, I get it. I'm sure it makes it tough to feel that energy and to get excited about things. But one of my favorite things about Nolan Arenado, and which was one of the things I was really excited about when they traded for him, was that I thought he was going to bring that fire to the team. That, you know, sometimes, you know, you look at Cardinals teams and it's always very business-like. You know, it doesn't look like everybody's having a whole lot of fun, even when they're winning, not just when they're losing, but even when they're winning. It's like, all right, we stay calm, we stay focused, we don't get too excited. And I hate that. You know, I want these guys to go out there and have some fun. And Nato normally plays with fire like that. You know, I thought the combination of he and Contreras and Nootbaar, that those guys, you know, as far as the 3 starters go, I expected them to provide that energy this year, and it just hasn't been there as much. And again, losing has a big part of that, but you saw it last night, and it was really cool to see, you know. And then Contreras shows some of that Yachty-esque fire in him in the bottom of the 7th inning. Cardinals are up 2-0 at this point, and Flaherty, he's starting to teeter a little bit. And after allowing back-to-back singles with 2 outs, he walks Brian De La Cruz, who appeared to yell something. I don't think he yelled it at Jack, or I think he just was excited about the fact that he had a nice at bat, took a walk. Contreras took exception to that. Didn't like that so much. Maybe thought he was showing up his pitcher a little bit. They had some words with each other, and you know, De La Cruz trots over to first base. Nothing really big comes out of it. But old number 4, the guy that's on my door back here, Mr. Yadier Molina, he used to do things like that. You know, he didn't like it when the other team was showing a little extra exuberance when something bad happens to his pitchers. And it's something that Contreras has shown he's willing to do on multiple occasions, stick up for his guys. And I dig that. I like that a lot. Cardinals get another run in the 8th inning on an RBI double by Gorman. They win this one 3-0. The offense certainly good enough to win you ball games, but per usual, it's the pitching. It's the pitching in this series that cost them games 1, 2, and 3. And that's been the story most of the year. And that's why it's really funny, you know, not funny, haha, but just ironic that going into the trade deadline this year, which is coming up in a couple of weeks, the one thing the Cardinals need, right, is pitching. Like, they don't have enough good starting pitching or good enough bullpen arms, but their biggest trade assets are guys who are pitchers on this roster. Flaherty, Montgomery, and Hicks, followed by perhaps outfielders like Tyler O'Neill, maybe Dylan Carlson, then Paul DeYoung. The idea that they would consider trading Paul Goldschmidt or Tommy Edman, especially now Edman with the wrist injury, seems like a long shot. You know, they'd really have to be overwhelmed by a deal for them to consider anything like that. So I don't think that's going to happen. I'd say 99% chance that those guys are not moved. But the rest of those names, you know, they'll more than likely be shopped, with those first 3 in Flaherty, Montgomery, and Hicks being the ones who will garner the most interest from other teams. The team will be in Chicago this weekend to face the White Sox, and we're going to talk a little bit about that series later on. I really want to get into the MLB draft today because I like drafts. You know, no matter what sport it is, I love doing research and talking about drafts, talking about past drafts as well. And the MLB draft will start on Sunday night. And I thought we could have a little fun today, take a look at some of the former first-round picks for the team and the names that people think the Cardinals might be taking at number 21 overall in round 1 on Sunday night. We'll do that next on Locked On Cardinals. Buying tickets to your favorite events should not be a stressful thing. It should be fun. You should be looking forward to getting tickets to your favorite events, and Gametime is the fast and easy way to buy tickets for all of your favorite sports, but also music, comedy, theater, with great deals on last-minute tickets and their best price guarantee. You can stop stressing over tickets. Start getting excited about going to whatever event you choose to purchase tickets to. And you don't have to worry about planning months in advance. Gametime has deals on tickets right up to the day of the event. Even for my Taylor Swift fans out there, I know it's been a big deal with her Eras tour. I think it's in Kansas City this weekend. And I'm sure some people from St. Louis are traveling over to Kansas City to go to the show. They've got exclusive flash deals on tickets for, like I mentioned, sports, football, basketball, baseball, but also concerts. Check it out. Maybe you'll find some Taylor Swift tickets on there. Comedy, theater, it's all available to you. The Gametime guarantee means you'll always get the best price. And if you find tickets in the same section and row for less, Gametime will credit you 110% of the difference. They get sent directly to your phone. Download the Gametime app, create an account, use the code LOCKEDONMLB, get $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. Download Gametime today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. The Cardinals are in Chicago to face the White Sox this weekend, and you can catch every pitch of the Cardinals' hometown broadcast with SiriusXM on the SXM app. Just search Cardinals. Thanks for making Locked On Cardinals your first listen every day. A reminder that you can always leave comments on YouTube as well on Twitter anytime you want. Your feedback is always welcomed and encouraged, so please let me know what you're thinking about the podcast, about the team, about the future, whatever it is you want to talk about. As long as it's, something to do with Cardinal baseball for the most part, bring it on. Bring it on. Love interacting with you. So the 2023 MLB draft begins this Sunday. And it's not the spectacle that the NFL or even the NBA draft is. Players taken in those sports are usually immediate impacts on their franchises like that year, right? Major League Baseball draft, it's more like the NHL draft, where these selections usually need a couple of years to develop before they get the call up to the big leagues. Some people get up there quicker than others. It does happen, but Jordan Walker, for instance, just taken a couple years ago, boom, already on the roster, 20 years old when he got here, 21 now. It does happen, but a lot of it takes a little time. And that's okay. That's just the way it is. So I thought what we could do here, and I'm not going to go all the way back through all the drafts, but I thought we could go as late as 2000. And I would say the Cardinals have done a pretty solid job in their first round selections, because not every first round pick, you're not, especially in the later picks of the draft, they're not expected to be superstars, right? You're just hoping they can contribute in a significant way at the major league level at some point, or you can use them to go acquire other pieces. They're used as trade bait. And if that happens and you get somebody good for them, that's a W. And I think going as far back to the 2000s, the Cardinals have done a pretty good job. Now, early on in here, not great. Okay. We're going to start in the year 2000, as they used to do on the, what was that? The Conan O'Brien show in the year 2000. All right. So 13th overall, outfielder Sean Boyd, and 24th overall, right-handed pitcher Blake Williams. Never heard of him. No idea what they did. 2001, 28th overall, right-handed pitcher Justin Pope. He got traded to the Yankees for, anybody know? Sterling Hitchcock. Oh, some of these names are great. 2002, they did not have a first-round pick because they had to give that up because they signed closer Jason Isringhausen from the Oakland A's. 2003, 28th overall pick, catcher Derek Barton. Do we remember who he got traded for? Anybody? Got traded to the A's along with Dan Herron and Kiko Calero for left-handed pitcher Mark Mulder, who at the time, phenomenal trade. And then Mulder could not stay healthy as soon as he got to St. Louis. He immediately gets hurt all the time. And that was a real bummer because that could have been a huge piece for them. Big swing and a miss on that trade. But at the time, he was one of the best pitchers in baseball. 2004, 19th overall pick, right-handed pitcher Chris Lambert, traded to the Tigers for Mike Maroff. Remember that guy? Oh, my gosh. He wasn't very good. 2005, 28th overall pick, outfielder Colby Rasmus. You guys remember him? And he was like the jewel of the Cardinals minor league system for a while there, was going to be the superstar when he got up to the show, and things did not work out. Never lived up to the hype. Had some issues between he and Tony La Russa. Eventually gets traded to the Blue Jays in the deal for Edwin Jackson, Octavio Dotel, Mark Zipchinski, and Corey Patterson was the other name in that one. A move that ended up winning them a World Series. Remember, it fixed their bullpen. Trading Rasmus fixed that bullpen. They go on to win the World Series in 2011. Also that year, 30th overall, shortstop Tyler Green. Never lived up to much. Got traded to Houston for a player to be named later. 2006, 30th overall pick, right-handed pitcher Adam Ottavino got claimed off waivers by the Rockies in 2013, which is kind of a bummer because the guy has ended up having a pretty strong career in the league. He's still with the Mets, actually, and has been outstanding against right-handed hitters for most of his career. So losing him on waivers, kind of a miss right there. Not sure how that happened. 42nd pick in that year as well. In the supplemental portion, they took right-handed pitcher Chris Perez. Remember, he was like the closer for the Cardinals for a heartbeat. Got traded to Cleveland for Mark DeRosa, two-time All-Star while he was with Cleveland. 2007, 18th overall pick, shortstop Pete Kozma. Nationals fans remember Pete Kozma very, very well. And then at number 36 in the supplemental portion, they took right-handed pitcher Clay Mortensen, who was part of the trade to the Oakland A's with Brett Wallace and Shane Peterson for Matt Holliday. 2008, 13th overall pick was first baseman Brett Wallace, again, traded to Oakland for Matt Holliday. And at 39 in the supplemental portion, they got right-handed pitcher Lance Lynn. Now with the White Sox, who the team is playing this weekend, some guys want him back. Would love to see Lance Lynn back in a Cardinals uniform. It's a possibility, I guess. I'm pretty sure the White Sox are going to be selling off a lot of pieces here as we get to the trade deadline. 2009, 19th overall pick, right-handed pitcher Shelby Miller. Traded to Atlanta for Jason Hayward. I still have an autographed pair of spikes in my possession of Shelby Miller's spikes from his rookie year. My family and I went down to spring training, and they had them up for auction, and we ended up winning them. And I was excited. I was like, look, this is going to be one of the future pieces of the Cardinals rotation. And that ended up being a bad investment because it didn't work out. Later on, he gets traded from the Braves to Arizona. Dansby Swanson coming back in return. So Shelby traded for a couple of big names there. 2010, 25th overall pick, third baseman Zach Cox, traded to the Marlins for Edward Mujica. Remember him? He was a good reliever for the Cardinals for a little bit there. 2011, 22nd overall pick, second baseman Colton Wong out of Hawaii. He's now with Seattle, but we know he had a very strong career with the Cardinals. 2012, 19th overall pick, right-handed pitcher Michael Wacha. Now with the Padres, having a resurgent year with the Padres after having a very good year last year with the Red Sox. Some people in the offseason wanted to see the Cardinals bring him back. Didn't happen. He's doing really well in San Diego. Outfielder James Ramsey, also taken in 2012 at number 23 overall. He was traded to Cleveland for Justin Masterson. Remember that name? Wow. Also in 2012, they grabbed third baseman at the time, ended up being an outfielder for the Cardinals, Stephen Piscotty, and third baseman Patrick Wisdom, who's now with the Cubs. Both of them taken in the supplemental portion. 2013, 19th overall, left-handed pitcher Marco Gonzalez, traded to Seattle for Tyler O'Neill. He's actually still with the Marlins. 28th overall pick that year as well, left-handed pitcher Robert Kaminsky got traded to Cleveland again. We do a lot of trades with Cleveland for Brandon Moss. 2014, 27th overall pick, right-handed pitcher Luke Weaver. Ended up getting traded to Arizona for Paul Goldschmidt in that package. He's now with the Cincinnati Reds and is not very good. 34th pick in the supplemental portion that year, right-handed pitcher Jack Flaherty, who might be traded at this year's trade deadline. 2015, 23rd overall pick, outfielder Nick Plummer, an absolute bust. Free agent now at the age of 26. 39th overall in the supplemental portion is when they took Jake Woodford. 2016, 23rd overall pick, shortstop Delvin Perez, another absolute bust. He's in the New York Yankees organization now, but he was the guy that some people thought he was top 10 talent. Then he got busted for PEDs. The Cardinals saw him slip. We're like, hey, let's take a chance on him. And he never did anything in the minor leagues. At 33 and 34 in 2016 is when they grabbed Dylan Carlson and Dakota Hudson. Those guys have been good pieces. 2017, no pick because of the Houston hacking scandal. 2018, 19th overall, third baseman Nolan Gorman. 2019, 19th overall, left-handed pitcher Zach Thompson. 2020, 21st overall, third baseman Jordan Walker, now outfielder Jordan Walker. 2021, 18th overall, right-handed pitcher Michael McGreevy, who's doing very well in the minor leagues. And 2022, 22nd overall pick, right-handed pitcher Cooper Jerpy, who has also had a decent start to his career in the minor leagues for the Cardinals. So you look back at this, and you've got a few busts, but you've also got a lot of guys that were used to get bigger pieces. And in the last 5 years, you've got guys who are, currently part of the present roster and are going to be a future of this organization. So all in all, you look at the names, and for the guys they got decent return on them in trades. Only two real bad busts in there, except for those guys in the early 2000s, but I'm not really familiar with them, so I can't really talk intelligently about them. But I think the Cardinals have done a decent job in the draft. And lately they've been doing a good job, not only in the first round, but in other rounds below that. So I hope they keep it up. Who might the team get, though, at number 21 this year in the first round? Same place they got Jordan Walker, by the way. I'm going to share some of those names with you next on Locked On Cardinals. Cardinals are on the south side of Chicago tonight to face the also underachieving White Sox, and you can catch every pitch of the Cardinals' hometown broadcast with SiriusXM on the SXM app. Just search Cardinals. Locked On MLB Prospects host Lindsey Crosby just put out his mock draft for the first round, which, again, begins on Sunday night, and he's got the Cardinals taking Colt Emerson, who is an Ohio high school shortstop / third baseman, and the 29th ranked prospect in the draft at MLB.com. Again, the Cardinals have the 21st pick. Scouting report on Colt Emerson, 6'1", 195. He's 17, bats left, is already committed to Auburn, so you'd have to kind of buy him out of that scholarship. Played well throughout the showcase circuit, hit 360 as the starting third baseman on the U.S. national team. They won the 18 and under World Cup in September. Also an all-state wide receiver as a junior before deciding to focus on baseball as a senior when he earned Gatorade State Player of the Year honors. So could be somebody that the Cardinals land. And that's something you're going to notice here. In these mock drafts, very rarely are the same names brought up. Like the Cardinals taking all sorts of different people. MLB.com has them taking Maryland shortstop Matt Shaw. They have him ranked number 16. The reading on this says, the general feeling is the Cardinals won't mind if one of the better college bats were still available. And in this scenario, Shaw has yet to come off the board, with Arizona outfielder Chase Davis another possibility. If those hitters are no longer available, you could see the Cardinals switch gears and look at prep arms like left-handed pitcher Thomas White, who they have going to the Padres at number 25. And I know we're sitting there going, okay, why are they hitters? Hitters is what we're doing? I thought we needed pitching. It's because these guys, that's kind of best player available type of stuff when it comes to where the Cardinals are drafting at number 21. It's who is the signability is a big deal. And then who's the best player available, because they don't always work out. And the guys you take aren't always somebody who's going to make an immediate impact. These guys could end up not even, sniffing the pros for 3-4 years. So it's not really about what the Cardinals need now. It's about what they might need them for in the future. CBS Sports has them taking Stanford shortstop Tommy Troy, who is ranked number 17 at MLB.com. CBS says the Cardinals have been linked mostly to college hitters in recent weeks, and there are still several good ones available in our mock draft. Troy is arguably the best all-round college bat still on the board, and he performed extremely well down the stretch in the college postseason. This late in the first round, though, St. Louis has cast a wide net, as has everyone else. Keith Law at The Athletic has them taking Florida high school shortstop Arjun Nimala, ranked number 11 on MLB, saying that Namala shouldn't get this far, but it sounds like a combination of an overreach, and his asking price and some concerns about the 17-year-old swing and miss are pushing him down to the back half of the first round, possibly even here into the 20s, where I think the Cardinals and Guardians would be more than happy to take him. Fox Sports has the Cardinals taking left-handed pitcher Thomas White, ranked 24th at MLB. ESPN has them taking shortstop Tommy Troy as well. FanGraphs has them grabbing outfielder Chase Davis, ranked number 22 at MLB. And finally, Bleacher Report also says they take infielder Matt Shaw. So you're seeing a lot of hitters. And hopefully some of those names will now be familiar to you. And when they get called on Sunday, you'll be like, hey, I heard Locked On Cardinals talking about those guys. Again, we don't know who the Cardinals are going to get at number 21. Neither do these guys. These are all guesses, but most of them are saying hitter. So if they do take a bat, whether it's college or prep, on Sunday night, do not be surprised. But if a pitcher falls to them, maybe they take them too. It's crapshoot. It's the MLB draft. And most people think the Cardinals will go hitter in round one. Draft begins Sunday night, 6 o'clock St. Louis time on MLB Network and ESPN if you want to watch it. Once again, thanks for making Locked On Cardinals your first listen every day. Be sure to catch every pitch of the Cardinals' hometown broadcast for this weekend series against the Chicago White Sox with SiriusXM on the SXM app. Just search Cardinals. Tonight's pitching matchup, Jordan Montgomery, who has just been phenomenal since the month of June rolled around, against a guy the Cardinals kind of wish was on the Cardinals roster, Dylan Cease, a guy that a lot of people are going to be trying to trade for here at the trade deadline. So should be an interesting pitching matchup tonight. Saturday afternoon, you got Miles Mikolas on the bump for the Cardinals. They have not announced the White Sox starters for Saturday or Sunday. Cardinals starter on Sunday, though, going to be Steven Matz. Still has not gotten a win yet in 2023. He is 0-7, and then that'll be the last game before the All-Star break. So we'll see how that season, but a first half that's been unfortunately very, very regrettable and not a whole lot of fun to watch. If you haven't already, please give us a follow on Twitter at @L_Cardinals and at JD Sports Radio. Like and subscribe on YouTube. You are the best fans in baseball for a reason, and I'll see you next time on Locked On Cardinals.